We can talk to this
Need
guy.
something? I don't generally talk to strange elves who wander in here.
Something against elves?
I don't know you. Why shouldn't I have something against you? We've got enough strangers overrunning us. Nothing but trouble. Can't promise I'm going to answer them. What isn't? We got chastened barbarians in every farmholder south of Callanhard running from the Darkspawn. Not that they'll be safe here with the army gone. You could talk to the Elder, though she's got her hands full getting everyone on their way. For now, most folks go to Sir Bryant. He's head of the Chantry's Templars. He's gone to war and taken all his soldiers, leaving us to fend for ourselves. There's not going to be much left when he returns, if he returns.
Those bandits outside the village?
You mean they're gone?
Yeah, I drove them off.
Well, goody for you. Now there's no one to drive off the blighted refugees. Sir Brian'd be glad, though. He's been talking about offering a reward for anyone who'd run them out. Don't let me stop you.
I get he's frustrated. Why's he gotta be an asshole about it?
I don't like this place. Why did we come here?
Move on if you can. Lothering's lost.
What do you mean?
We've had refugees streaming from the south for the last 2 days. The Chantry and Tavern are full to bursting. There simply isn't enough food to go around, and we Templars can barely keep order. You'd be better off elsewhere, my friend. I'm just out here to keep an eye out for Darkspawn. Please ask someone in town. No offense. The band has marched north with Tern Loghain, so Lothering's on its own.
Why's he got beady little eyes inside that helmet?
Otherwise, you could speak to Sir Bryant in the Chantry, I suppose. It's up to you.
It's just a guess, but I'm thinking everyone in Lothering is aware of the approaching Darkspawn horde.
Greetings to you, milady. If it isn't too much to ask, might you be able to spare some bread? We thought it would be safer in Lothering, that the Terran would bring his soldiers here. But bandits attacked us and took everything. Our food, our clothes, my daughter's pet lamb. Nobody cares about a few elves like us. Surely you understand.
That's wonderful news. Perhaps our belongings are still there.
I can't thank you enough, friend. Even if we don't get everything back, it's good to know others will be safe.
We did a good deed.
Back off. I have the right to charge what I wish.
You profit from their misfortune. I should have the Templars give away everything in your carts.
You wouldn't dare. Any of you step too close to my goods and I'll...
It's so nice to see everyone working together in a crisis. Where's the heart?
Oh, you there.
I like
You look
Alistair.
able. Would you care to make a tiny profit helping a beleaguered businessman?
Why would I want to help you?
Didn't I mention profit?
He is charging outlandish prices for things people desperately need. Their blood is filling his pockets.
'Tis only survival of the fittest. All of these cretins would do the same in his shoes, given the chance.
I have limited supplies. The people decide what those supplies are worth to them.
You bought most of your wares from these very people last week. Now they flee for their lives, and you want to talk business?
Look, stranger, I've 100 silvers if you drive this rabble off, starting with that priest. I'm an honest merchant, nothing more.
You don't think you're being
Would
unscrupulous?
it help these folks if they could buy no goods at all?
They spend their very last coin because they are desperate, and this man preys upon them as surely as the bandits outside the city.
Ah, I'm not arguing anymore. Drive off this woman and get your 100 silvers. Otherwise, I'm taking my wagon and leaving. You wouldn't dare. I'm leaving. And who's gonna make me leave him? You? I hope the Darkspawn choke on your cheap hides. Ah!
I suppose it couldn't be helped.
No, maybe I should have killed him. Oh well.
And Eileen spoke unto the masses, my hearth is yours, my bread is yours, my life is yours. For all who walk in the sight of the Maker are one.
Why is he wearing tier 11 priest gear? Just noticed that. It looks like the tier 11 set from Cataclysm. Or no, tier 13. It was the Dragon Soul tier for priest. Smile
Let
back.
all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels
The most awkward
darkness upon
conversation
us.
of all time.
He can't answer you. He's Chanter Devons.
What's a chanter?
One of them that can only say the chant of light. His board has letters of good deeds to be doing. My father fixed Widow Allison's roof once, and the charter paid him, he did.
A learned child is a blessing upon his parents and onto the Maker.
Unless it's the chant of light, no.
And so Rajmael in the heathen temple recanted. Speak only the word, sing only the chant, then the golden city is thine, spoke Andraste. Blessed are the peacekeepers, champions of the just.
Bandits. Bandits everywhere. Okay, we can go kill bandits, I guess.
A few knights have come through here, searching for some holy artifact. Not one of them stopped to help.
Okay. You little boy, what are you
Have
doing?
you seen my mother? Some mean men with swords came, and Mother told me to run to the village as fast as I could, so I did. She said she'd be right behind me, but I've been waiting and waiting, and I can't see her. Mother said I wasn't to go with anyone. I'm supposed to wait for her here, in the village. He went with William to the neighbours yesterday, but he didn't come back. Why not? Why would she leave me here? But she must be coming. I don't know. Maybe I should go home and look for her. No, I'm big enough to go myself. The mean men must be gone by now.
Oh, well, that kid's dead. Oh well, we tried. Wow, really struggled to open that one, huh?
Alistair, if you will indulge me.
Do I have a choice?
Of the two of you that remain, are you not the senior Grey Warden here? I find it curious that you allow another to lead while you follow.
You find that curious, do you?
In fact, you defer to a new recruit. Is this the policy of the Grey Wardens, or simply a personal one?
What do you want to hear? That I prefer to follow? I do.
You sound so very defensive.
Couldn't you crawl into a bush somewhere and die? That would be great, thanks.
Please, we came here to to get away from the fighting.
Hit him with the ha. Look, the bottom is embarrassed.
Hello, stranger. I don't suppose you know anyone that can make traps. Old man Barlin said that Darkspawn may be coming soon. He's got traps on his farm. I figured I'd put a few on my lands. Barlin wants to poison his traps. I just want normal traps. He doesn't have any poison yet, thank the Maker. So his fields are just full of traps. He can be a bit eccentric. None to be had. Barlin has all the traps in the village in his fields. I didn't mean to bother you. Sorry.
Oh, well, I guess we can't help you.
Just how smart are Mabari supposed to be, anyway? Do you think they understand everything we say? Oh, is that so? You could just be listening to the tone of my voice. You could be an utter moron for all we know. Hey, now. Oh, there's nothing saying that a moron can't be cute and adorable. Who's the cute and adorable puppy?
I don't like this place.
Ignorance is bliss.
Why did we come here?
Ignorance is bliss, isn't it?
You got a bed for the night. You taken care of. Don't need blades right now. We need beds, food, and an end to all these sad sots. I don't suppose you know anything of tonics, medicines, or herbs. Then you may be able to do us a lot of good. All manner of travellers come through, many injured or sick. We do our best, but we're out of supplies. There's medicinal herbs in the woods to the north. If you make a few poultices, I'll scrape together some sort of payment. I'll write all you need to know in this note here.
Okay. I guess we need to make potions somehow, then?
How dare you accuse me of thievery? I saw you take the supplies from my car. Your grassland eyes are inept. A chastened would never stoop to petty theft. The carnage we left in the wilds was horrifying.
Enough! People here are already desperate and frightened. They don't need you.
Shock.
Sten? This guy must be important. He's got a name.
Mara Starit. You aren't one of my captors. I have nothing to say that would amuse you, elf. Leave me in peace. I'm in a cage, am I not? I've been placed here by the Chantry. I am Sten of the Beresad, the vanguard of the Kunari peoples. You mock me, or you show manners I have not come to expect in your lands. Though it matters little now, I will die soon enough.
This is a proud and powerful creature, trapped as prey for the Darkspawn. If you cannot see a use for him, I suggest releasing him for mercy's sake alone.
Mercy? I wouldn't have expected that from you.
I would also suggest that Alistair take his place in the cage.
Yes, that's what I would have expected.
I suggest you leave me to my fate. I have been convicted of murder. Have the villagers not spoken of this?
Who'd you kill?
The people of a farmhold. 8 humans, in addition to the children.
Are you guilty?
Are you asking if I feel guilt or if I am responsible for the deed? However I feel, whatever I've done, my life is forfeit now. Either you have an enviable memory or a pitiable life to know nothing of regret. 20 days now. I shouldn't last much longer, another week at most. Death will be my atonement. Perhaps. What does your wisdom say is equal to my crime? The Blight. Are you a Grey Warden, then?
Yup.
Surprising. My people have heard legends of the Grey Warden's strength and skill. Though I suppose not every legend is true.
Perhaps if you told her the Grey Wardens need my assistance, it seems as likely to bring my death as waiting here.
Why does he sound like the narrator from the Justice League?
Farewell, then.
A penitent man left to be torn to pieces by Darkspawn. 'Tis a fine example of the Chantry's mercy, is it not?
Right, so we gotta save Sten somehow. I don't actually know how.
I sent something while I'm here.
So excessive.
Only one shall stand!
It explodes. So unnecessary. Okay, where do we find whoever we need to talk to get Sten out of his cage?
You do not seem a refugee. Were you part of the army?
The carnage we left in the wilds was horrible.
We're planning on running that mine until the last minute.
Did you speak to that knight yesterday? Said he was from Redcliffe.
We talked to everyone in the tavern. How are we supposed to know where the urn of sacred ashes is?
Well,
you might not want to go in. Tavern's full, and those soldiers are being a nuisance. Same reason the Chantry's full, packed with people who fled their homes. The tavern keeper's letting folks sleep on the floors, but he can only fit so many. And those soldiers are getting restless. They're not here to defend us. They were looking for someone before they started drinking. I hear they almost killed a man because they didn't like his face. I wonder if they're deserters from the King's army. Is there any reason to be happy? With the King dead, them Darkspawn will overrun Lothering before anyone can organize. You'd think those soldiers could at least run off the bandits. I hear someone gave them what they deserved. Wasn't you, was it?
That was me.
It was? Hey, everyone! This is the one who drove out those thieving bastards! More will probably come, but it's good to know some justice is left here. Thank you.
He said that all the Redcliffe
Okay.
knights were looking for it.
Let's go find out why the soldiers are being assholes and get them out of here.
Well, look what we have here then. I think we've just been blessed.
Uh-oh. Loghain's men. This can't be good.
Didn't we spend all morning asking about an elf by this very description, and everyone said they hadn't seen one?
It seems we were lied to.
Gentlemen, surely there's no need for trouble. These are no doubt simply more poor souls seeking refuge.
They're more than that. Now stay out of our way, sister. You protect these traitors, you'll get the same as them.
I doubt he would listen. He blindly follows his master's commands.
I am not the blind one. I served at Ostagar, where the Tern saved us from the Grey Warden's treachery. I serve him gladly. Enough talk! Take the Warden into custody. Kill this sister and anyone else that gets in your way.
Right. Let's make this quick.
Warden says.
Okay.
All right, you've won. We surrender.
Good. They've learned their lesson and we can all stop fighting now.
What do you want to tell him? I'll tell him. Right away, now. Thank you.
I apologize for interfering. but I couldn't just sit by and not help. I wasn't born in the Chantry, you know. Many of us had more.
She got huge
colourful lives
tits.
before we
Holy
joined.
shit.
Let me introduce myself. I am Liliana, one of the lay sisters of the Chantry here in Lothering. Oh, I was.
What does that mean?
I joined the Chantry to live a life of religious contemplation. But I am no priest, not even an initiate. They said you were a Grey Warden. I'm surprised you're an elf, but elves must want the Blight defeated as much as humans, no? I know after what happened you will need all the help you can get. That's why I'm coming along. The Maker told me to.
Can you elaborate?
I know that sounds absolutely insane, but it's true. I had a dream. A vision.
More crazy? I thought we were all full up.
Look at the people here. They are lost in their despair, and this darkness, this chaos, will spread. The Maker doesn't want this. What you do, what you are meant to do, is the Maker's work. Let me help.
Perhaps your skull was cracked worse than Mother thought.
Thank you. I appreciate being given this chance. I will not let you down.
Oh shit, we have a rogue?
Blast it.
Sorry.
Indeed.
She can open up chests, Alistair. She's already superseding you on that one. She can get us more loot. That's very important.
As I live and breathe, you're the Grey Warden everyone's
Chest
been
check,
talking
nod.
about.
Look, gone. It was the first thing I noticed was me like, oh wow, she's got huge gazongas. Like they are noticeably larger than every other character we've encountered so far.
I represent the Blackstone Irregulars. We're a mercenary company that fell on hard times after the war with Orlais. I'm sure you know that times are getting worse every day. With your help, the Irregulars could be of use to Ferelden once more. Our leaders thought you might be willing to help. Each of our posts in Ferelden will contain letters addressed to you. Unlike most who work with us, you're getting letters straight from Raelnor and Tauran, our leaders. I hope this tells you how highly the Irregulars regard the Grey Wardens. Thank you. When you've completed a mission, just return to me or any of our members stationed
Watching soul
within the
leveling and typing back here for once again.
We'll
How
make
goes it?
sure
I
your
mean,
efforts are rewarded.
it's very
Maker's
long-winded,
blessings light
like
your
more
path.
so than Mass Effect was, and I don't really understand a lot of what's going on. But I'm still kind of interested, so I kind of want to know what happens. As it looks like we can get a new collar for Max, but we don't have one. Well, we can give you gear, okay. Oh, she can use chainmail. Okay, hang on. What does the fatigue do? I think that's good. I think it's just an effect that gets put on the gear. What does the difference of the fatigue mechanic do? I don't understand that mechanic. Fuck if I remember. Yeah, it's not exactly explained, I guess. I don't know. We'll give the rogue leather armor, because rogues are supposed to wear leather armor. There, now you have 2 daggers. She gets poison making, huh? She has the bard ability? Oh, she's like geared up for archery. Why the hell do we not have her as an archer then? We don't want her to have swords then. We want... Give her a fucking bow. Now we have a use for arrows, I guess. Oh, only I can wear the Warden's Oath, huh? Okay. It's like other games that add costs to skills. Okay.
You're gonna make more trouble? We've about all we can stand in Lothering now. They had it coming, and they were trouble enough themselves. So long as you don't start more,
Solo
I
leveling.
won't get excited.
This is so
Right
far,
then,
it's
name's Dinar.
struggling to
Sorry
keep my
about that
attention.
much. As you see, we've a full house.
I can't admit I'm honestly too invested in the story. I don't really get it.
That monster killed 3 families, torn them up like a beast. The cage is too good for him. But it's
Solo
the
leveling is
Chantry's
edging as
idea
fuck.
of mercy.
There's another one of my emotions gone. Edgy as fuck. Oh, okay. Mouse keeps talking it up that it's like super good shonen, and I'm like, alright, maybe I'll check it out.
When Tien Logain marched by, he left those fellas behind to look for Grey Wardens. I suppose that's you. I have no qualm with you, whatever the Tien says.
Why is that
My
bottle so
grandfather
fucking
served.
big?
Your secret's safe with me.
It is comically large.
Can I get you then? There's knights from Redcliffe wandering the countryside, looking for the place where Andraste's sacred ashes are said to lie. Can you believe that?
Enjoy my time with
The
it, but
Earl
also being
Hugh
liberal with
Garashes
skipping
is a
pointless scenes. Ah.
And yet these knights say they were sent to find it anyhow to heal Arl Eamon. I didn't even know he was ill. Maybe he has
I've never
a
done that with the show,
If
where I'm
so,
just like,
then
going, oh, we need to
times
skip
are
this
even
part.
darker for Ferelden.
I've never really
Any
done
of us
that in a
don't.
show before. I've
Anything else
definitely,
I can
like, if I'm not interested, I usually just stop watching it.
Luck speed your way.
But I've never had a show that I've watched that, like, ever had me go, yeah, we need to skip this part, move to the next thing.
I heard what you did with the other man.
I had a friend that did that when I was trying. He was trying to show me a show, and he kept skipping ahead. I went, "I'm not going to watch this if you keep skipping parts of it. I don't know what the fuck's going on because you keep skipping it, saying, oh, this part's not important, and skipping to this next scene." Like, dude, I'm watching the show for more than just the combat scenes. Like, I want to see what's going on in the rest of the story. Like, don't do that when you're trying to show me something. Oh, we have a store. Do we need this shield? I guess we should give that to Alistair, actually. I don't know what I want to keep as far as like what things are worth keeping.
If you're here about food, take it up with that bleeding runt by the Chantry. I got other gear to sell. Check the Chanter's board by the Chantry. There's good jobs there. I don't suppose you know anything about poison.
Rotag got a key to into a castle to get a thing. I skipped 5 minutes in a combat bit. Oh.
I figured if I kept asking, I'd find someone. I'd pay good coin for some simple poison. Something to slow them beasties down or make them think twice. Thanks. I might have some ingredients in stock. don't really know what you need.
I don't either, because I don't know how to make that still. That could be really good for Morrigan, actually. I don't think it's actually better, though. Gives a recipe for a thing, and another key to the castle, almost literally being the same exact position as before. Gotcha, I see what you mean, then. What is this? Oh, is this for the dog? +2 stamina regeneration in combat, or +2 dexterity. Let's get this for Max. I don't really know what I'm trying to do. I'll be real with you guys, I really don't understand exactly what I'm trying to do here. Oh, did I buy one fire arrow? Is that what that was? Kind of a cool fight, but also I know he isn't going to lose because that means the end of the series, and I know he wasn't going to get the thing because also end of the series, so what are we doing here? I feel like not understanding that dramatic tension and how that impacts character arcs is something a lot of people miss when they're watching shonen. It's about the chance of stakes, not the stakes actually being real. And I think that's the big thing with watching any kind of shonen is you kind of have to suspend disbelief to watch it. If you can't do that, the genre is just not going to be for you. It's why, like, I love Dragon Ball. I know going into Dragon Ball, Goku is literally never going to actually lose. Like, they're going to overcome the big bad. That's the point of the show, is that you will overcome. It's meant to be a show of hope. Like, that's the point. Like, even against insurmountable odds, the heroes prevail. That's the point of Dragon Ball. And I feel like if you're going into Dragon Ball not expecting more, I think you're missing the point, maybe.
What's next?
He's also lost and died, but it was never for stakes. Like, he didn't stay dead. You know, like he doesn't remain dead forever kind of thing. That's what I mean. It's like there's no true stakes in Dragon Ball. You know that the Dragon Ball guys are gonna win. They're gonna overcome it, be it Goku that does it or somebody else. You know, like that's what I mean. Like that's true to everything. You know, like in Naruto's not gonna fail. He's gonna succeed. Like they're gonna overcome the bad guy. You watch Bleach, you know they're gonna beat the bad guy. If they didn't beat the bad guy, the show would be over. That's what, like, a big difference between something like those shows are and something like Full Metal Alchemist, where it's meant to be that gritty, dark. You're going to fail. You're going to lose. You're not going to find the success you're looking for. It's in that story of hope, that story of overcoming, that shonen finds its foothold. In a world where we really exist in, what Goku does, what Naruto does, that overcoming adversity despite all odds isn't reality. That's not how things actually work. But that's what makes those shows what they are. It's in that show you can find that despite the odds, despite the insurmountable evil they're up against, they still dig deep and find what it takes to get across that finish line. And that instills a layer of hope that perseverance prevails. And that's what the entire genre is meant to show. So, like, not catching that part is definitely kind of like missing the forest for the trees, I guess is what I'm saying. But it might also be that that just might not be a story that resonates, and that's why you're like, why are we doing this? What's the point? Because you're looking for something different. Not necessarily that it's a bad story, but you're looking for something possibly different. You get where I'm coming from with that, at least? I may not be wording this well. I may be wording my point horribly and making myself sound like a fucking moron, but that's kind of my thing at this point. I'm bad at conveying my point.
I watch the Black Horde descend on my people.
What was he yelling about?
Not be silent. Please stop. Somebody
I also
shut his
read a lot,
mouth.
so I was hoping for something
isn't he
different.
right?
That is also
The
very
ban left
true.
us. We're going to die.
I've heard of Kaiju number 9, but I don't know the premise.
First of those who will destroy us.
I think the big thing too, though, is to remember there's a difference between shonen and shinen. And shonen's meant to be that very lighthearted, upbeat story of hope, where shinen is very much more of you'll succeed, but it's likely to be a Pyrrhic victory rather than, you know, a resounding one. And they're meant to be. I think the way it's presented, the difference between shonen and shinen, is that shinen's meant to be a more adult story, I guess, where shonen is seen typically as like a young adult story rather. Make sure I'm using the right term here. Oh, seinen is how it's pronounced. Oh, they use it to actually determine it being like shonen being for young boys, where seinen is for young men. It's meant to depict an age range for the target audience. And I think that's like a big thing to take into account. Shonen's really more meant, they're comic book heroes. They're meant to be for adolescents. Like that's the point. Whereas the seinen stuff is more for, it's meant for a more adult, older counterpart, and it's meant for that age demographic 18 to 40. It's going to be a darker story. It's going to be there's going to be bigger stakes. There's going to be it's going to be a more stronger depiction like that. Here's a good way to word it. Generally speaking, shonen tends to be more simplified and more straightforward, while seinen tends to be more complex and cerebral. But that's not technically mutually exclusive of each other. And I think that's the big thing. That I think that they intermesh too often. For that, then you end up with like an overlaying. Yeah, Solo starts with gruesome bugs murdering people is definitely like, that's going to be more in that seinen lean than a shonen lean. That's not to say that that stuff doesn't happen in Dragon Ball, but like consider that in Dragon Ball, outside of the Prime fights, when they do like some real horrific shit, it's never shown on screen, whether it's in the manga or in the anime. Like, consider that's the thing. And then like, that was the big thing of why Dragon Ball Kai exists, is Dragon Ball Z was far more brutal than the manga itself actually is. And that's why I didn't care for Dragon Ball Z, but I really liked Dragon Ball as a kid, and I fell back in love with Dragon Ball Z when they did Kai, and it was true to the manga, because it was far more close to what it should have been. If you watch the original Dragon Ball Z and you read the manga for Dragon Ball Z, they're excessively different, and vastly added new things to the show that don't exist in the manga at all. The difference between Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Kai is Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. You look at Dragon Ball Z is like 300 plus episodes. When they do Kai and they redo it, it's not cutting filler, it's following the manga. So it's cutting out anything that was made up that doesn't actually exist in the manga that's put into the show. Yeah, like I think the driver's exam actually does happen. But like the entire stuff written out for Piccolo training Gohan never happened. that happens, but it happens off screen. None of that's all made up by the people who made the anime. That Toriyama kind of like, guided them, like, here, maybe this is what you might want to do with this. But he never wrote any of that. It all happens off screen. There's a time skip in the manga, and then that's when Goku comes back, and it's like, yeah, I was training with Piccolo. Yeah, the way that Piccolo goes about it was completely up to the people working on the anime at the time. Toriyama was working on the manga. He was just more of an advisory role in what was being made to it, and that's why they went back and did Kai later, so it followed true to what he was doing. It's kind of like an anniversary to the show. It's like, let's give the full, like, this is the definitive story that happened. That's why, like, when people talk down about Super, it's because they're remembering Dragon Ball Z, but that's not how the story went. And largely, the people watching or reading Super remember the anime that was made, but not the manga that Dragon Ball was. So they have all that inference and these moments that never actually occurred to give these characters development in Dragon Ball Z. And that's why things seem repetitive happening in Dragon Ball Super, because Toriyama's writing Super based on what happened in the manga. And the events people remember happening and the character moments and development that people remember happening had never actually happened yet in the story. So that's why Vegeta seems like he takes this, like, 180 on his character arc. Because the character arcs people remember him having, a lot of those didn't occur. He didn't have that growth yet as a character. A lot of these moments where it feels like Goku's just more of a fucking moron in Super is because Toriyama didn't write it. Goku didn't have those deep things that occurred because he didn't write what happened in the anime. So Goku didn't grow as this character in Dragon Ball Z. It never happened. If you watch Dragon Ball Kai leading up to the start of Dragon Ball Super, it feels far less disjointed because you're going, oh, yeah, Goku still keeps all that naivety even through to fighting Buu at the end of the saga. To where he gives that impassioned speech about, I hope you come back and you can be someone who can be a true fighter here and not this pure evil being, because I'd love to actually fight you someday. And then that's when he takes him out, which does happen. I don't think Toriyama ever did anything with that in Super, or at least not to the point I've seen in it, but I don't think Oob ever actually shows up outside of the end of Dragon Ball Z. I think it's just a plot point that kind of gets left behind, unfortunately. But there's a lot of things that are like that in Dragon Ball, where he wrote it and went, I don't know how to continue this, so we can't really move it forward, because he wasn't sure what to do with it. But that's a big part of what happens with that is the things people remember didn't actually happen because Toriyama wasn't the one that wrote it. And that's where there's a lot of disconnect. A lot of older anime do this. Dragon Ball is just an easy example because it's a beloved franchise. He got forgotten like Launch. Launch legitimately got forgotten, which was very funny. And he was deeply embarrassed by that. That's why she shows up again later on in the series in Super, and he made a point to make sure the character was included, because he felt really bad about it. Toriyama was deeply embarrassed by that happening.
My family, my clan, those creatures butchered them all.
But yeah, that's the big thing with it, is if you think you remember Dragon Ball the way it was, but yeah, especially when you're writing a story that's gone on as long as Dragon Ball, he was bound to forget stuff. He started Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, in like 1982, and was still writing Dragon Ball Z going into like the 2000s, and was still actively working on things. Like, of course he was gonna forget stuff on when Dragon Ball Z was being made, because Dragon Ball Z was like a decade after Dragon Ball was. Of course there were things that like, oops, we forgot about this. That's why there's the episodes in Super when they're getting the guys back together and they're going to track down all the Z fighters. He makes a point to show this is what Tien Shinhan was up to. He's got the whole monastery he's been rebuilding and retraining and like reviving his fighting style. Yamcha went back to baseball and, you know, got his life together. Krillin settled down. He's got his family. He's with 18. All that stuff. Vanakin, how's it going? you know, 17 has the nature sanctuary and, you know, does what 16 would have wanted, but 16 didn't survive the Cell Saga. So he does that, you know, as a, this was my brother, I need to do this. And he does that as a protector of the wildlife, because the wildlife deserves to be protected. That's what his whole thing was. 18 gets to have all of her character development happen. You know, they get to show off what happens to Gohan and Videl, how they continue their character arcs. You get screen time explaining this is how Mr. Satan continues, you know, his career and how that builds up, how him living with Majin Buu, and Majin Buu being this actual like character that exists. And is just this person people now know on Earth that's Majin Buu. They don't remember the things he did because that's what they made sure happened, so Buu got a second chance. Like, Super does an incredible job, but like I said, the big thing with it is it runs counteractive to... Yeah, they don't remember Buu's actions or his destruction of the world because they made sure of that when they brought everybody back. It was to make sure, because Majin Buu during the Buu saga, that Majin Buu that we still have around was separated from the evil Buu that we knew. There's a whole point where he expels the evil from himself and then fights back against it. And they realize, oh, Majin Buu himself isn't evil. It's the part of him that was evil that was expelled. He doesn't have that part of him anymore. So it was unfair to hold him accountable for the actions of that evil entity that was the part of him that did it. Almost like they took the part of him out of him that was morally guilty of all those actions. And then was able to show remorse for what happened and fought back against it. And in the eyes of the Z Fighters, they went, look, that's redemption. Like, we need to give him a second chance. It would be unfair to hold him accountable. Hori, how's it going? But it was one of those, like, if they just brought everybody back and they remembered what Buu did, well, that wouldn't be very good now, would it? It would be hard for Buu to get redemption then. So it makes sense that they would bring everybody back to before the Buu saga stuff happens. Yeah, there's a ton of points, and there's a whole lot of depth to the world of Dragon Ball that a lot of people just either don't remember or missed entirely. And like I said, a lot of it might be because they only watched Dragon Ball Z, which means you didn't get the story the way it was intended. You got a facsimile of it, and an edited version, and an amended version, and almost in a sense, an abridged version of it in many cases. Or an inferred version of it. And that's why I don't like the original Dragon Ball a whole hell of a lot by comparison. Like, compared to Dragon Ball, which is phenomenally well written and well put together because it follows the manga. Down to the letter, like, even to, like, all the, like, naive, weird shit Goku does because he's never seen a woman before. Because he's lived in the wilderness all his life. Like, shit, they even delve into in Super, they go back and actually... like they give you like more hints into why Baba and Roshi don't age. What's up with that? Why is Mr. Turtle still alive? He's a fucking sea turtle. How has nothing changed with them? And it also goes into why they're the people they are. Like there's moments that Super explains that and gives you those details that you otherwise were missing from the original Dragon Ball still. I need to watch Daima. I was waiting for the English version because I don't like the Japanese version of Dragon Ball. And it has everything to do with I grew up with the English voice cast, so like hearing the characters in Japanese is just weird to me. They don't sound like how they should, and the tone of the show in Japanese is very different to the English version of it. So I need to still sit and watch Daima, which I want to do, but I need to finish Super still, and it's been sitting on my shelf in a collector's box case for 2 years now, and I haven't sat and watched it.
I ran, hearing my wife's
But yeah, no, like, that's why I get on the defensive when people talk about how Dragon Ball has no story and it's just a bunch of stupid filler and 30 episodes of Goku charging the Spirit Bomb, and it's like, tell me you watched the original Dragon Ball Z version, never read the manga or anything, and without telling me that's all you've ever watched. It's definitely like if you like Dragon Ball and you want to see the story, read the manga, because the manga it doesn't have all the things people remember. That's why there's the joke if you watch the abridged Dragon Ball Z. Remember the Bug Planet Vegeta? The Bug Planet never happened. That was never real. Nappa remembers the Bug Planet because the Bug Planet was fabricated. It was fiction. There's like an entire season of Super that it never happened. Problem with Super is I don't like some of the characterization in Goku Black arc starts well. But it's a train wreck. Yeah, the Goku Black arc was trying to bring... It was one of those, like, I want to do something with the Future Trunks storyline again. And it didn't really work because there was never consequences with that story in a way that felt impactful. On top of, they just never made Zamasu into a character that ever felt like something you gave a shit about. And the other part of it too is it never felt like it progressed any part of the plot of Super's overall storylines. Like, Beerus's storyline plays into itself. Frieza's storyline plays into the overarching storyline. Zamasu's doesn't. It doesn't play into the storyline of the grand tournaments. It doesn't play into the storylines of the universal tournaments. It doesn't even play into or really bring anything to the storyline of the destroyers and the angels. And just kind of is a storyline that existed, was paced poorly, and had no interesting characters involved or anything. Like, there wasn't any point of it that made anything matter. And just ends like a wet fart. It's objectively, the Goku Black arc is the weakest arc of the entirety of Dragon Ball Super. Like, that is one part, like, I would almost argue you could skip watching every episode that involves the Goku Black arc and not actually miss anything is the worst part. Like, you wouldn't have a lesser experience watching Super because it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. You didn't miss anything skipping that. It's the one part of Super that is objectively poorly done. Like, people will say, oh, the tournaments are so bad. Dude, the best moments of Dragon Ball are always the tournaments. The world tournament in the original Dragon Ball is one of the best moments in the series. The 3 different tournaments that take place throughout Dragon Ball Z are phenomenal. The Universe 6 versus Universe 7 and the Universal Tournament are fucking incredible story arcs. They're the points where you get to see all the characters truly shine and really have some of their best moments. So, like, to say the tournament stuff is the worst part of Dragon Ball just tells me I don't think you like Dragon Ball. You might just not like Dragon Ball. The martial arts tournaments are the biggest parts of the show. I have to wonder if the box set I have has the Broly episodes for Super in it or not. Because I know there's the movie for it. Because the 2-year alert is from the Broly movie. But I don't know if there's a series part of that yet. I haven't gotten that. I didn't finish the I got to, I think, like the episode or 2 before Ultra Instinct, and I ended up moving, so I didn't get to finish that part of the series. That's why I own it. I need to get caught up on that part still. There's no actual series for Broly. That sucks. The Broly stuff I feel like could have made a really good series. I hear the movie's phenomenally better than the original Broly movie, or its 2 sequels that I don't think needed to ever exist. I do need to sit and watch the Broly movie and then the Gohan movie I haven't watched yet either. I do need to watch both of those still.
Are you calling me a coward? I have shamed my ancestors.
I've heard Superhero is really neat.
The Blacklist will come.
He was right, wasn't he? There's no hope for us. Our courage. But there's nothing we can do. Then What shall we do? We must try to go north somehow.
You got that shit together pretty quickly, huh?
Maybe with that blasted chasing gone, my headache will go as well.
I don't know what splint mail is.
It's good to see you again, Sister Leliana.
Thank you, Sir Merrin.
Were? Did you drive them off? Well, Sir Brian will appreciate
I hope that explains things probably a little bit for you, Gaunt, though. You may just be looking for a different type of story. Might be all it is with solo leveling. Or, like I said, maybe it just you're approaching it differently. But yeah, that and also, if you've only ever seen the original Dragon Ball, I do highly recommend reading the original manga. And watch the actual Kai version of Dragon Ball Z. It's a stark difference, because it's not even close to the same show.
Not since Teyrn Loghain passed by with his army. It's a shame about the king. But with the Darkspawn coming, few can think of anything else. The revered mother runs the Chantry itself, and Sir
It is
Brian
interesting,
heads the
though,
Templar
going through it and then realizing, oh, wait a minute, a whole bunch of these events never occurred.
Is he still alive? The revered mother put him there a few weeks back. He'll be dead soon enough. Make her watch over you.
I've killed 26 people. I won't lie, guys. I'm very torn on this game. I don't doubt that it's a really good game. I don't know if it's a really good game for me. And I don't think that because like, oh, this game is bad for streaming. That's not the reason at all. Any game can be streamed. Literally any game can be streamed. So I don't believe that at all. I think it's my own personal taste in games. This might be in stark contrast with, might be the problem.
Just like you wanted.
I think that's what this is. Like, it's interesting, it's neat. Like, I'm not totally disinterested in it, but I'm definitely struggling to be captivated by it, I guess is the best way to explain myself here.
Let him hear our righteous dedication and enduring perseverance.
No, I don't think so. Sorry.
I guess we can't pick that lock. Max, can you get the door open?
To the Black City in heaven, and then shall the chant of
What are you
light
even
make
talking
it pure.
about?
Who? I beg your pardon. I did not see you approach. I am Sir Donal, knight in the court of Arl Eamon in Redcliffe. Or I was, prior to his misfortune. Why is that, if I may ask? A warden! Then some did survive. You must be who Loghain hopes to smoke out with his bounty. The Teyrn declared the Grey Wardens responsible for the massacre at Ostagar. There is a price on your heads. Whatever the Teyrn has done or not done, the Arl remains ill, or worse. That is my primary concern. The Arl fell ill before the king died. But what if Loghain planned that too? Oh, such thoughts do not sit well with me. If nothing else, I am certain you'll be welcomed at Castle Redcliffe. The Arlessa is there, and she could tell you more than I could. My mission takes priority. But I fear I shall be returning to Redcliffe with nothing to show for my efforts. You know of Arl Eamon's illness, I assume. It is most terrible. Our only hope now is a miracle. Every knight of Redcliffe has gone in search of the Urn of Sacred Ashes. Andraste's ashes are said to cure any illness. But I fear we are chasing a fable. With each day, my hope dims. I expected to take advantage of the Chantry's library, in fact, but my skills are better suited to battle than chasing down tales. Supposedly, the urn contains the ashes of the prophetess Andraste. Surely you know all this. If you're truly interested, there are books here containing a great deal of lore. Nothing I have found leads me to believe that this was anything more than a quest of desperation. I intend to return to Redcliffe soon and tell the Arlessa exactly that, once Sir Henrik arrives. My fellow knight and traveling companion. He is delayed, though. What? And you have his locket? And a note? Maker's mercy. Thank you for giving me these. I would never have known otherwise. Thank you. I wonder how many of us have met similar fates on this mad quest. With Henrik gone, I need to return to Redcliffe. Perhaps later I will seek out the scholar his note mentions. But I must go. Thank you again, my lady. You have been most helpful.
Adam, can you get off the desk, please? I don't know what you want, but it's not going to be up here.